Hi, everybody, and welcome to another episode of BookGoodies podcast for authors. My name is Deborah Carney, and I'm your host. And tonight I have with me two very unique guests, Alvin and Antonio. Actually, everybody's unique, but their book is very unique. And I would like to say welcome to both of you. How are you doing tonight?
How are you?
Hi, we're doing very well tonight.
All right, great. Well, can you each introduce yourselves and then tell us a little bit about yourselves?
Sure.
I'm Antonio Lopez-Woods, born and raised in the Bronx, Puerto Rican Italian, and I'm an actor and a model and an author.
Nice. Alvin?
Yes, and I am Alvin Lopez-Woods. Hi, everyone. I am a publicist and author. I am from Louisiana, now based here in New York City with my husband. And we were one of the first couples that were married on July 24th of 2011. We had the absolute pleasure of sharing our special day with the world. And we received enormous attention, being featured in the New York Times, the New York Post, Jon Stewart's The Daily Show, and we are advocates for marriage equality, same-sex equality, and we wrote a book to enlighten all couples on relationships.
Well, and that's what's so exciting about this is because whether people decide that they like marriage, same-sex marriage or not, you can't deny that there are still going to be relationships between people. So if you are in, a heterosexual or a homosexual or a lesbian relationship, the same thing applies.
All right. Yes.
And that's what your book is about.
Absolutely.
So, how did you come up with the idea for the book?
Well, funny story. We were, after we got married and we decided to, live the bliss of, oh my God, we're married, we're young, we have careers, what can we do to better ourselves? And we said that we wanted to write a book, but didn't know what to write about. Mm-hmm. One day it came to us, and we wrote the book.
To piggyback off of what my husband is saying, we were looking for a template for ourselves. Marriage isn't an easy road to go down, and there is no template or playbook to an ideal marriage. And we're both young. We're both in our 20s, and decided to make this huge commitment to one another. And we decided to start to journal, if you will, different experiences that we were going through and bringing us closer together. And once we got married, we started to find ourselves in the familiar position of giving advice to friends and family and colleagues about how we're making things work and how we're handling first few months of being married. And we realized that everyone was going through things that we were going through, whether it was a same-sex couple, whether it was my parents, whether it was friends. Everyone seemed to be having the same challenges within their relationships. And it was more like an aha moment for us. We already knew that we wanted to put together some type of book to really highlight, what we were blessed with in regards to being one of the first same-sex married couples here in New York City. But, that aha moment of, all couples are really similar. And I think that people realize this. We don't think that people realize this. Here we go. This is our material.
Yep. Because it's really funny, too, how much that little piece of paper makes a difference. Like, you can live together for 6 years, and then you turn around and get married, and all of a sudden things change because you think you're supposed to fit into some specific society identified role now. And with you guys, first of all, you don't have any roles that you have to fit into, but you still have that. You've made, like you said, instead of still just, living together and telling each other you're boyfriends or whatever, you've actually committed to, this is who I want to spend my life with. And that brings up a whole lot of stuff that people don't realize until you have that piece of paper in your hand. And until you look into each other's eyes and say, this is it. I love you. I want to marry you.
Right.
Exactly.
So, all right. So what were some of those challenges that you wrote about?
Most of the challenges that we wrote about were just, like to piggyback on what my husband was talking about. It was pretty much, what our friends were going through, what, like he said, his family, his father and his, mother and his friends. And it's same thing for my brothers and sisters and aunts and cousins and, my father and mother, going through the same problems. We came across, certain things that we didn't know, were going to happen, but, it's not perfect. So we decided that, when it did happen, to jot it down, like, okay, this is something that we did come across, which was, love you or heart you, and it's pretty much like you have to love yourself in order to love someone else, and that was the first things that we, came across even before we got married. It was for both of us to be committed to each other for the rest of our lives. We had to love who we were as a person, as people, in order to give ourselves fully to the next person.
Yeah, absolutely. And I always say, you wake up with yourself first. Even before you wake up next to your partner or significant other or whatever you call, the romantic person in your life. You wake up with yourself first, and you have to be happy with the person that you are. Like, who wants to be with someone who can't even enjoy their own company? And it was really important for us to be able to love ourselves individually before being able to come together as a couple. And so that's how we start the book. That was our first lifelong relationship lesson, that we had to get to a point of completely loving who we were for who we were before even attempting to love another person as much as you should,
And I'm nodding my head here because, you're in your 20s, which is like when you're still really discovering yourself and deciding if you're happy in your own skin or not.
Yes.
Right. Right.
And, like you said, you've got to figure out who you are before you go ahead and say, I can live with you the rest of my life, but I don't know who I am yet.
Yep.
Right.
Yep. And, we are both young, and it's obvious. You can't do it on the podcast, but you can look at us and tell that we are a young couple. So many people jokingly think that I am still a teenager sometimes, which is really funny to me. But we've lived, at 20, in our late 20s, we've lived enough to know the men that we are today, the men that we aspire to be, and we've made that commitment to become those men together. We do say in the book, kings walking hand in hand. My husband Antonio is my king. I think of myself as a king, and it's important to build a throne together, if you will.
Yeah.
It's really important to not worry about who I'm going to be in 10 years, who I'm going to be in 20 or 30 years. It's who am I going to be with this person in 10, 20, 30 years. I know enough to know that I want to grow and become one with someone else. And that's all because I can wholeheartedly say that I love myself.
That's awesome. And that's just so perfect. And it's so perfect for, like you said, that applies to same-sex marriages. It applies to, I don't want to say regular marriages. I don't know the right terminology. I don't want to offend you or anything. But, for heterosexual marriages or for same-sex marriages.
Yeah.
And even for people that are just living together that haven't gotten married. You have to know and love who you are, and you have to know that the other person knows who they are so that you can grow together, because that's the whole point of being in a partnership with someone is to know that you're comfortable with each other and you can share everything. And I know a lot of couples that still don't share everything. They'll whisper in my ear, "Shh, don't tell so-and-so because I'm going to be, I'm going to sneak out and say I'm doing one thing, but I'm coming out with you and the girls." And, you need to have that communication. Communication is key.
Oh, it's absolutely key.
Yeah.
It's absolutely key. And, there's so many little tidbits and tips that we give from our daily lives in this book. And you kind of touched on another one of kind of sneaking out and not feeling like you can be 100% open. What Antonio and I have, which is very important to me, is that we have a strong friendship.
Mm-hmm.
It's not fluff and it's not a joke that he is my best friend.
Right.
I'm very, I guess, not myself when I'm socializing and my right arm isn't there. It's become my appendage. He's my arm.
Mm-hmm.
So having my best friend in tow with me anywhere I go is a bonus. It's a plus. I mean, who doesn't love being with their best friend? Which is another tip that we write about. It's you have to enter this relationship knowing that this person has to become one of the, if not the closest person to you. And growing up in life, who are those people? Those people are your best friends. So how are you in a relationship with someone that you don't consider to be one of your best friends?
And someone that you don't want to hide anything from. You want to be able to be totally open and yourself and not be criticized.
Absolutely.
Right. But to piggyback on what you said, it also goes back to the fact that majority of people, no matter what the age is, whatever life throws at you, any experience that you go through, and you learn and grow from that, you take that and you use that for yourself, and you grow as a person, so that when it comes around the next time, you know what it is to do with yourself and what not to do to someone else. So it's all about the experiences you go through in life. And I think with me and Alvin, we grew up in different parts. I wouldn't say different parts of the world, but if you call Louisiana and New York different parts of the world.
Oh yeah, they're very different.
Different parts of the world.
But we grew up in different parts, and we were raised differently. And the fact that we were raised so differently, we learned so much about each other that was so different that when we met, it was just like, wow, like I see you, like I see me. I'm looking at a mirror, and that was the main thing that led us to fall in love and get married. It was the fact that we've been through the experiences, and we knew it was right. Yeah,
that's great. I just realized that we never have said the title of your book, and that's one of the things we want people to find out.
So important. The title of our book is The Best Workout is Sex, A Gay Guide to Your Ideal Marriage. And it is available worldwide. You can order copies through Barnes & Noble, Books A Million, Amazon, on your iPads, your Nooks and Kindles, iPhones. We're available everywhere. Okay. And we're so proud of The Best Workout is Sex, A Gay Guide to Your Ideal Marriage, because it's our baby. I mean, from idea through fruition, this is all of us. And just a little note on the title, The Best Workout is Sex. We do want to point out that the sex in the title is in parentheses. This book is not about the physical act of sex. The book is about the mental and emotional sex that couples go through.
And I love that. I read that in your description that you sent to me when you pitched to be on the podcast. And that is exactly, one of the things that my boyfriend and I talk about a lot is that, we're making love to each other all day long, just by talking to each other.
That's right.
And interacting with each other.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And, people do this all day without really knowing. And I think my husband is the most attractive thing walking, and I'm sure other people do as well. But for me, it's more so because he stimulates my mind. We have stimulating conversation. We have a connection that goes so far above and beyond the sexual connection, that when we are connecting on a mental and emotional level, it just heightens everything else, including the physical sex.
Right. And I'm glad you explained that, because we don't want people to stay away from the book just thinking it's going to be talking about sex.
Yeah, right. I think the main thing that we thought about before going into the whole process of writing the book, and we had to come up with a working title. We had everything that we wanted to do, but we had to come up with a working title. We wanted to pinpoint, like my husband said, more mental than physical. And, we were sitting here on the couch, and, we were going through titles, random titles that, we would say pop up. And my husband's like, how about the best workout of sex? And I'm like, a gay guide to the idea of marriage. Like, it just came instant. Yeah. It was just something like, wait a minute, we're two happily same-sex gay men who have been through it, who are seeing it, who are, going through it, and want to be able to express it to other people, that, let's do it in a non-sexual way. And the thing about the title is that it's so controversial, because when people look at it, they're like, oh my God, sex. Oh my God, two gay men. And, once you read the premises of the book, you're like, I'm stuck. Why is this book talking about sex? It's talking about mental. It's giving me help. And that's the aha moment that we have in the book.
Yeah, I mean, we definitely wanted something that was a little provocative and appealing to the eye and the senses. And I think that was the reason for really deciding on this particular title. I mean, at the end of the day, we wanted to keep it real with people. Yeah. Once again, people don't realize that you're having some form of intimacy. That's the key word there. It's intimacy. It's sex. You're having some form of intimacy with your partner all day long. Whether it's the initial "Good morning, sweetheart, I love you," or the soft hand caressing the knee or the hand while you're watching TV, or whatever the case may be. You're connecting, you're intimately connecting, which is a form of sex.
Well, and the second part of your title being, a gay man's guide to intimacy or whatever, it's you have extra challenges.
Yes.
You seriously, because of society, you have challenges that you have to go through that heterosexual couples don't have to.
Absolutely.
Correct.
And if you can get through those and survive, I can see where it would be very beneficial for your insights to be helpful to any couple.
Yes. Deborah, you're so with us. That was the whole process of it. That was the aha moment. Yeah. Because we found ourselves once again talking to so many people that were close to us, family, and once again including our parents, distant relatives, cousins, brothers, sisters, and people just kind of sitting back like, wow, you guys are married, not so much so that you're two men, but in the same breath, you're married because you're two men and you're making it work. There has to be so many more options.
What's your secret?
What's your secret? How did you walk down the aisle? What happened?
Right.
And that's exactly what it was for us. We gay men, gay couples, gay women should be able to get such profound relationship tips on how to make things work, because we're not necessarily just dealing with what happens in our household. Yeah. We openly walk the streets holding hands. We're affectionate. We have matching, stunning, I might add, wedding bands. That people see and they ask about. Like, we're not even talking to one another out in public. We're just going about our day, and people notice that we're wearing two what are obviously wedding bands, and they're the same. It sparks conversation.
Okay, you need to send me a picture to include in the podcast notes.
We will absolutely send you a picture of our wedding bands.
And it's just so. It goes back in history. If you look back in history, you're facing the same challenges that many years ago mixed race couples faced. Yeah. So, now, maybe there are still those people out there that, crinkle their nose when they see a mixed race marriage, but it's accepted now. You know, it's not, you know, they're not going to get shot in the diner because, you know, there's a black man and a white woman with kids. You know, you're at the cutting edge of the next barrier of discrimination. So, you know, you're leading the way on same-sex marriages.
Yes, absolutely. And, you know, once again, the book idea and us wanting to give our voice to this hot button issue, you know, was because we felt an obligation of sorts to show that we are like every other couple, just like, you know, forefathers had to stand on, you know, we stand on their shoulders, the forefathers who had to fight for interracial couples to be able to be married. And it's interesting that you mentioned, you know, the racism of, you know, 40 years ago, 50 years ago with interracial couples, because we are an interracial couple as well, you know, on that. And I am from Louisiana, you know, the
hotbed of racism.
Yeah, a hotbed of racism, you know, a product of two African-American, you know, young kids raised by his father who went on to marry a white woman. And they're still looked at in 2012 in some kind of odd way at times, depending on where they are, you know, and people kind of look at my brothers and sisters, younger brothers and sisters who are of mixed race, a little awkward at times.
Right.
So, you know, we wanted to use the voice that we had no idea that we would be blessed with. You know, all of this press surrounding our wedding being, you know, talked about in the New York Times and on, you know, being featured on Jon Stewart's The Daily Show. We were given a platform to speak up. We represent a completely different demographic that some people are sometimes afraid of.
Yep. And that had to add additional pressure as well. You know, you just got married and all of a sudden you're celebrities because you got married.
Well, my husband's the celebrity, not me.
Well, I think you're both good-looking guys, so that I don't think one has got anything over on the other one.
Thank you.
Now, okay, so we talked about how you got the book started, what the premise of the book is. Now, how have you been marketing other than, you know, all these great things that happened before you wrote the book?
Well, the marketing side of things and just the communication efforts, it's really, really interesting for me because, like I said in my introduction to everyone, I'm a publicist by day. That's my trade. And I'm very familiar with brand management and, you know, marketing and advertising and PR as a whole. And this is literally our baby from creation through fruition. And I represent the book through my PR agency.
Okay.
And, you know, I handle all of the promotions, the marketing. You know, we handle everything. You know, when it came to reaching out to you to pitch this idea, it was me reaching out on behalf of the book as the publicist, as the marketer, and speaking about two authors. And I just so happened to be one of those authors.
Yeah, and that's really awesome that you have that. Are you like using social media? I mean, I got in touch with you through helpareporterout.com, Harrow, which is a wonderful way to find sources for any kind of interviews or, you know, articles. What other things are you doing? You have Facebook?
Twitter. We also have a book website. And like my husband was saying, he represents the book as, you know, the publicist. He has his own agency, which is also, it's on there. So, you know, once you type it into the Google search engine, it's pretty much, it pops up.
Yeah, everything pops up. And, you know, through my agency, The Media Model, which is obviously based here in New York City, I have a lot of communications tools and resources that I am able to tap into to find the appropriate places to pitch the book, to pitch us as authors, to push the national conversation, because it's really important to us to open up this dialogue of love is love. You know, we had this, you know, misfortune of North Carolina recently voting for a ban against same-sex marriage and equality. And that was just the harsh reality of people are still uncomfortable with
Right.
same-sex couples. And it's really important to show everybody that we are just like every other couple, that, we're just like your neighbors. Everyone has someone that they can relate to in regards to same-sex
Right.
loving, even if they don't know it yet.
Yep.
Because there's so many people who, are fearful of living in the dark.
Yep.
And, people don't realize that their mother or father or brother or sister or cousin or best friend or classmate that they are in study hall with, or anyone that they come into constant contact with, could be same-sex loving,
Mm-hmm.
and too afraid to say anything about it.
Right.
So for us, it was really pushing this national conversation
Right.
of, we're just like you.
Right.
Our family loves us no less,
Right.
because we are same-sex loving. And
Yeah.
the support that we have is so profound. And that's why we thank our families in our book, because we're treated just like
The brothers and sisters.
the brothers and sisters. There's no difference.
Right. And I think the main thing that, this is something I've discussed with, my husband on many occasions, and, of course, friends and family, they've always brought up the question, about it's you and another man. It's a woman and a woman, and they never fully understand it. But my main thing is that, everybody's going to have an opinion about anything,
Right.
and, we as people have to realize that when you're in the process of being born, you don't know what you're going to be born.
Nope.
Black, white, gay, straight, blue, purple. You don't know. And my main thing is, to have so much hate on, people who are different from you. And it goes back to a touchy subject that I always discuss with my husband, which was racism. I grew up as a young child, in school with the whole racism teaching classes, and I hated it. I hated all my friends were African American, all my friends. And to me, it was just like, how can someone else treat someone who's, beautiful for, who they are as a person, and not see that, but look at the outside, or look at who they are and what they're doing. It's to me, it's nasty. And I mean, the main concern was, we know who we are, and people have to realize that. Again, it goes back to, you don't know what you're going to be born, and you just got to live your life the way you want to.
It's people loving people. It's not men loving women, or men loving men, or women loving women. It's
Exactly.
It's people loving people.
Exactly.
Okay. What would you tell an author that was just starting out? What advice would you give them?
I would say, don't give up on your dream. Our main thing, me and my husband, is that, we have passions. Everybody has passions. Everybody has inspirations. Everybody wants to do something with their life and be, career driven. And nobody knows how to do it, when to do it, and why should they do it. And my thing, speaking from, me and my husband, is that you have to do what your heart desires. And if you can't do that, then you shouldn't be doing that. And, you're always going to get, most of the times you're going to get knocked down. You're going to be told no. But at the end of the day, if that's what you love to do, then that's what really matters. You stick to it,
Yeah, absolutely. It's so important as an author to carve your own lane. There's no point of really trying to be the next, big author, trying to be the next J.K. Rowling. Why don't you be the first, whoever you are?
Yeah.
And I think that's really important for people, especially authors, to know. And in regards to carving out your own lane, we are self-published, and it's really important that we make that known. We're published through Author House, which is the largest self-publishing company. So we have pretty much the best of both worlds. When it came to the production of our book, we had all of the final say-so. We have all of the rights and royalties to our book. We have access to, through Author House, so many different distribution companies, which made it possible for us to be available all over the world. You know, we are rock stars in Sydney, Australia, and
Nice.
I think that it's the funniest thing to see our book come up in Sweden and Finland and Brazil and Spain and all of these different places. It's so rewarding for us because we didn't conform as authors. We had a subject and we had a date. We wanted our book to be available to the public by the time of our first year anniversary, which is the first year anniversary of same-sex legalized marriage here in New York State.
Mm-hmm.
Going the traditional route, we would have been put in a box. We would have possibly had to sign with a LGBT-focused book company.
Mm-hmm.
We would have been put in a niche market, and that's not what we wanted. So we made the decision to bypass the whole traditional route and really put our all into this project and do all of the writing, no ghostwriters, do all of the editing, no extra help. Really come up with the topics and the formatting, and this is really our baby. So the advice in a nutshell is to authors is create your own lane. Don't take no for an answer and do what you want to do.
Well, and that's excellent because that's excellent advice because, you mentioned J.K. Rowling, and I've been mentioning her a lot in our podcast as we go through them because she didn't start out famous, She didn't start out in a niche that already existed. She created a whole new world.
She created a whole new world.
And, she got famous because people liked her world.
Yep.
So you don't have to be the next Harry Potter story.
Yep.
You need to be whatever your world is and present it to people, and you can be the rock star. Like you said, you're rock stars in Sydney, Australia. You can be the rock stars that are helping push the ideas that you have out to the public. And she obviously didn't self-publish, but, had she been starting today instead of when she did, she may have self-published at this point because she was turned down quite a bit. Stephen King, he was turned down a lot before somebody finally took a chance on him.
Right.
So, and most of the popular authors are. And in today's day and age, our readers don't all want to read the same old formula stuff.
Yeah.
Maybe the Nora Roberts fans want to read, more of her style of writing, but they're also not opposed to reading a new romance writer's style of writing.
Yes, absolutely.
You don't have to follow the formulas of old because with technology the way it is, look at two guys in New York City have books published all over the world.
Yep. There you go. And for that, it's such a pat on our back.
Mm-hmm.
We have to be excited by the opportunities that we're being afforded at this moment in our life because there's so many different things that we want to do. And we just had this conversation today. We are super, super excited to look at the traction that we're getting, to see if we're being picked up anywhere. It's really excited for us because we are doing this by ourselves. And we recently made it onto iTunes What's Hot 100 list.
Oh,
and,
nice.
And it's for me specifically as a publicist, I'm just like, man, it's amazing to get any type of press, let alone press for your baby, for your own your own project. And when my husband told me that we made it to this What's Hot 100 list, I mean, I could have gone through the roof. And and today my husband says, "Oh, babe, we're kind of fluctuating. We've gone down a few spots on the list." And for me, I'm like, that's fine.
I don't care. I'm still on the list.
We're on a list. We're doing this on our own, and we're on the list.
Yeah, you screenshot that and put it on your website.
Oh yeah, we are bestsellers on Amazon. No one can ever take that away from us, regardless of where it goes from here. We're bestsellers on Amazon by our own merits.
Yep.
And we didn't conform. We had a message that we wanted to put out to the public, and I'm so proud to share this opportunity with my husband and have, come up with the first all-inclusive relationship book for all couples. That's creating your own lane.
Yep. Now, what is your next project going to be?
awkward pause.
Caught you off guard with that one.
Yeah, well, for us, there are tons of opportunities that we are being afforded. There are tons of opportunities that we are being blessed with, both individually as well as a couple. I have all of my eggs in a basket of really building my PR agency, The Media Model.
Which has taken off, just to clarify that.
My husband, my big cheerleader.
And, with me, I've been, doing more acting. I just shot my first commercial and,
Congratulations.
Thank you. So, as individuals, we have our dreams and aspirations. And as a couple, what we're doing is that we want to see each other succeed. So what we do is we push each other, we cheer each other on, we tell each other it's going to be okay when, there's a no, the next one might say yes. We give each other words of encouragement. And I think, majority of people need that in a stable marriage or relationship or even friendship, either or, any relationship, you need that. And, with us, that's what we're doing.
Yeah, I mean, we're just working towards our individual goals and our collective goals, which change quite often.
Change daily, depending on if you're on the Hot 100 list or not, right?
Right. We came into this as two dynamic individuals, and we are one hell of a couple.
Yeah.
And it's just what's next. Big things for my acting husband, and what's next for me. Hopefully major moves on the business side of things for me, and opportunities are coming in from this particular project. I mean, one specifically, I've been granted the opportunity to be a regular contributor, blogger for the Huffington Post, and
nice.
I'm using that outlet to bring strength and empowerment to those who may not necessarily know they need it. Mm-hmm. So what's next for us? The stars and the moon.
There you go. I like it. All right. Well, we've just about used up all of our time, and I want to make sure that our listeners, we don't go over time on them too much.
Yep.
What are your parting thoughts? Like, whether it's an author or not, what are some parting thoughts you would give people?
I would say stay true to who you are and reach for the stars.
On my side of things, I would say be gentle with yourself. We live in an instant society these days. It takes hard work and determination to get anywhere, regardless of what your goals are. So I think it's really important for people to know and understand that it's important to be gentle with yourself and not look for the quick fix.
Okay. I like that. That's beautiful. All right. A lot of people listen to us on through podcatchers and through iTunes and whatnot, and they don't necessarily go to our website to see the show notes. So, Alvin, why don't you tell people where they can find, what the website is for your book and what the website is for your PR company?
Yeah, absolutely. So the website for our book, the first all-inclusive relationship guide on the market, The Best Workout is Sex, A Gay Guide to Your Ideal Marriage. You can find everything about the book at our website, thebestworkoutissex.com. And once again, that's thebestworkoutissex.com. And you can find us all over the place. The best place at the moment is electronic retailers, Amazon, Books A Million, Barnes and Noble, and in regards to my agency, The Media Model, you can find everything that I'm doing, all of my clients, everybody that I'm working with, entertainment, lifestyle, personalities, at themediamodel.com.
Okay, and Antonio, do you have any other websites of your own, or?
I think the main websites, like Alvin was saying, is that www.thebestworkoutofsex.com. You find out all the information and how to contact, us as authors and information about the book. And also Alvin's, website, themediamodel.com. You're going to see all his, clients, which I'm one of them. So either way, if you wanted to get in contact with one of us, those two websites are perfect. It has our Facebook links, our Twitter pages, okay. The book's Twitter and Facebook, everything is on there. So, I mean, it's pretty much, as long as you go to those two pages, we're there.
Yeah, you can really find us. Our information is out there in the universe, and we are really looking to connect with those who are, supporters of our causes. We are looking to connect with people who believe in our businesses and our brands, and we really want to connect with people who are dream chasers.
Dream chasers. I like it. I wonder if that domain name is taken. I'm going to go look before I post this.
Yeah, look, send it.
All right. Well, everyone listening, I want to thank Alvin and Antonio for being our guests tonight. I really enjoyed our conversation, and I hope all of our listeners did too. And you can find this podcast along with others at BookGoodies.com. And you can search for either Alvin or Antonio's names, and you will this podcast will pop up for you so that you can leave comments. And if you're an author that wants to be on one of our podcasts, at the top of the page you can click on the Contact Us button, and you can also leave information about your book on the Tell Us About Your Book link. And as always, you can find all of our podcasts, and we'd like to thank our host, geekcast.fm, geekcast.fm. And you can find Book Goodies on Twitter at twitter.com/bookgoodies and Facebook at facebook.com/bookgoodies. But we'd really rather you just go to our website, which is bookgoodies.com. You can find me personally at deborahcarney.com and at twitter.com/Loxley, LOXLY. And I want to thank all of our listeners. Again, thank you, Alvin and Antonio.
Thank you.
Everybody have a great day. Get writing, and thank you for listening.